Hello, my name is Dr. Amanda Bryant-Friedrich, and I am the Dean of the Graduate School here at Wayne State University. And it is my pleasure today to just bring in all of your voices to hear how things are going at the university as far as my graduate students are concerned. And yes, I do call you my graduate students. I know I loan you out to your respective colleges so that you can do your academic work, but at the end of the day, I still call all of you mine. So this is a difficult time. And we know it's a difficult time for everyone. I moved here to this area in August, and I moved in the middle of a pandemic. And so I remember all of the different things that we had to think about, moving children, getting a child started in college, getting my husband all situated with his job, and actually making a new home for everyone. So I share in your unsettled feelings when it comes to the climate right now in this pandemic. We have a lot that we have to be concerned about. We have a lot to be concerned about with families that are very far away. I know that many of you are actually from places way outside of the United States, and your families are dealing with the coronavirus pandemic just as we are here. So I am with you and understanding how it feels to have a mom, a dad, brother, sister, family, friends far away, and hoping that everyone is doing okay. The financial crisis is real. We understand also in the graduate school that it is a time when families may be struggling, and when families struggle, students struggle, and that includes our graduate students. So we are really aware of many of the issues that you are concerned about when it comes to your daily livelihood and actually making sure that your families are taken care of. We want to hear about that. We want you to reach out to us. We want you to tell us what it is that you actually need to make sure that you're not only surviving, but that you're also thriving in this environment. I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that we just had an election. Politics is huge in the United States of America, and we have a lot of freedom to say and do a lot of things around our leaders. Well, it's a time now of transition. I know that most of you have been listening to the media. You know that transition is going through. There's a lot of discussion about what the future looks like. But I'm going to use the message that I hear a lot of people mention, is talking about us all being together. We are all one. When you're at Wayne State, you're a warrior. You're a warrior no matter where you come from, no matter what major you are, no matter whether you're an undergrad, a graduate student, a medical student, a PharmD student, we're all warriors. And the president always tells us to be warrior strong. And we definitely need to bring in that strength, that understanding, and that deep commitment to inclusion that the institution has built its actual reputation on over many, many years. Social justice is at the top of a lot of our list on things that we are concerned about. I have traveled to many different universities. I've served on the faculty at different places. I've been abroad and in the United States, and I've never been at a place that talks about social justice first in every conversation. And that may not be something that you get to see every day. It may not be something that you actually get to feel every day. But I can tell you by comparison that this institution is deeply, deeply committed to any activities to support social justice. I am also very aware of the fact that the Wayne State University is in the city of Detroit. And this, for the time that we're on this campus, this is our home. And the city of Detroit sees the Wayne State University as a part of its community. And the engagement that our graduate students are actually involved in the community and making the connections to the people of the city of Detroit, to the university, that's a huge part of our commitment to our city and to our state. When I think about Detroit, I think about the Detroit metropolitan area. There are huge amounts of discrepancies and lots of different economic discrepancies and healthcare disparities and all of those kinds of things that make up the Detroit metropolitan area. And we need to actually, as a university, take on some of those very important issues and bring them to the forefront. Who better to do that than incredibly engaged and fabulously intelligent graduate students? So it is in this environment that we really want to see you all prosper. We want to see you prosper, getting a love and an understanding for the environment in which you exist, being able to look across the table when we were at the time when we could be at a table and see people who don't look like you and really understand that they belong there just as much as you do, and you belong there as much as you believe you do, because we're all good enough. We're all enough to be where we are today. I am deeply thankful to the members of my staff in the graduate school. You know, it's always a lot for a lot of people during the pandemic, but they had to welcome in a new boss. And these individuals have stepped up to the plate. They have shown me all of the different things that I need to do, the things that I need to understand to make sure that your experience is as good as it can possibly be. You're going to meet some of those individuals today. I want you to make sure that you jot down names, that you remember faces, because when the great day comes that we're back on campus, I want you to be walking across campus and think, there's my associate dean, there's my dean. I want you to understand that these people are here for you as graduate students, and they are there to answer your questions. They're there to make you feel at home at the institution. So we're going today to try to answer some of your questions. And it has been incredibly enlightening for me to see the questions that have come in. I am deeply concerned about your well-being as graduate students. I am deeply concerned about the fear and the hesitation that you have, the fear about your next career move, your job options. I am deeply concerned that you don't know if you're going to finish. You're very worried about being able to get into the lab or to get into the libraries or to do the things that you need to do to complete your degree. We hear you. We understand that that is a major, major battle. I know finances are an issue. It's come up. There are many questions on that, and we're going to address those for you as well today. So I just am going to conclude by saying that it is very important that you recognize what we are for. The graduate school is the point at the institution where anyone who is above a bachelor's degree in their academic journey can come to our doors and get information. Many of you are in master's programs. You are the largest population of graduate students in the institution in the master's programs. And we know that you are also there. We also understand that you are a part of our community, and we want to be of service to you as well. So quite a few questions came in today from our master's students. So I hope that we can really actually engage you and get you some answers to some of your questions also. I also like to reach out to our professional students. I know that those students who are in the law programs, in the professional programs like medicine and pharmacy, you are also different breeds. You have a lot of support that comes from your individual programs, but the graduate school is also there for you. So having said all of those things, I'm really looking forward to try to answer your questions, to introduce you to my staff, to introduce you to other resources on campus. We have some great people who are with us today, and we're going to try to make sure that you get to know them and to know where you can actually get information from. So now I'm going to move to introducing all of those individuals to you that I'm talking about. The first person I'll introduce to you is Dr. Sharon Lean. She is an associate dean in the graduate school, and she is going to briefly introduce herself as well. Sharon?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm eager to learn more about what your needs are. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Success in the grad school, and this is my third year in that position. Prior to that, I was the graduate director in my home department of political science, where I still teach classes and direct dissertations. I am here for each of you. You can call me on my office line and it will ring to my cell phone. You can email me. I do want to hear from students individually and directly, in addition to the work I do with your faculty members in your departments and your graduate program directors. Thank you, Dean Bryant-Friedrich.
Thank you, Dr. Lean. Now I would like to introduce you to Sokol Todi. Sokol is also an associate dean in the graduate school. Sokol, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sokol Todi. I'm one of the associate deans at the graduate school. I'm in charge of postdoctoral affairs, but I also am very heavily involved with professional development series at the graduate school. Besides my duties as associate dean, I also am a professor of pharmacology and neurology at the School of Medicine, where I teach and conduct a lot of scientific research. Some of you may already know me, for those of you who are postdocs, but just because I deal with postdocs doesn't mean I'm not here for you as well. And I'm very quick to respond by email and answer the phone. So should you have any questions, absolutely feel free to reach out to me, to all of us at the graduate school.
Thank you, Dr. Tody. We also have a third associate dean, Dr. Todd Leff. He is also a faculty member in the College of Medicine, and he's teaching at the moment. So he sends his regards, but please feel free to reach out to him as well. The next person I'd like to introduce you to is one of the first contacts that you make when you actually become interested in our graduate programs, and that is Sherry Quinn. She is our Director of Admissions. Sherry?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session this afternoon. So glad to have you all here. Again, my name is Sherry Quinn. I'm Director of Graduate Admissions, and you are free to reach out to me at any time should there be any questions that you have on your admission status, or if you are thinking about making some changes in your current graduate program. Again, welcome.
Thank you, Sherry. The next person I'd like to introduce you to is not a person in my office, but I feel like I can adopt him anyway. His name is Leonard Savala. He's the Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Engagement.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that. So my name is Leonard Savala, and I'm the inaugural Director for the Office of Multicultural Student Engagement. You might see us in some of your orientations on campus. I have a wonderful team of individuals. I hope you get a chance to see us. Eventually, when we get back on campus, we're on the 7th floor of the Student Center, and on behalf of my team, welcome you today.
Thank you, Leonard. The next person I introduce is Evan Mcadams. She's in Counseling and Psychological Services, CAPS.
Hi, everyone. My name's Evan, and I'm happy to be here. I am one of the counselors at CAPS, and looking forward to providing support and letting you know how we can help if it comes up today.
Thank you very much. Our next person here is Kelly Dixon. Kelly is the Director of the Office of International Students and Scholars.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here. My office is going to help you navigate all of your questions when it pertains to immigration issues, as well as working on and off campus. We're happy to have you here. Please stop by or contact us, not just when you have problems, because we're here to help you with many phases of your stay here at the university.
Thank you very, very much. So with that, we're going to jump into some questions. And if you have other questions, please feel free to submit those as we're talking. We're sure that some of the things that we'll bring up may bring other questions up in your mind. So the first question that we have is, what type of services does the graduate school have to assist us at Wayne State University and outside of Wayne State through the pandemic? And one particular thing was childcare. We are very aware of the fact that your life does not end when you walk off of campus. And so we really want to make sure that if you have specific needs that have to do with housing, food security, childcare, medical care, any of those kinds of things, that the graduate school is the place for you to reach out to get support. I am going to ask my Associate Dean, Sharon Lean, to offer some more advice on that aspect.
Thank you. So what we do is advocate for graduate students and keep in close contact with units across our campus that provide services like the ones that Dean just mentioned to all of our students on campus, including our graduate students. And we also tried to provide as much information as possible to graduate program directors so that they can share this information with you. If you would like to take a quick look at some resources that we have highlighted for graduate students during the pandemic, you can check the graduate school's website at gradschool.wayne.edu/coronavirus. And underneath that, in our COVID information webpage, you will find a link for student-oriented resources, including financial and wellness resources. Most of the resources we provide are actually resources provided by units across campus that we just want to make sure the information gets to grad students, that these services are for you, they are fully for you, and we want you to take advantage of all of them. I want to add with regard to childcare that I have been serving on the Provost's Daycare Implementation Committee and working hard to expand childcare resources on this campus for the past 5 years. And we have a relatively new childcare resources website that is up, and we are continuing to work very hard to try to make more childcare resources available. But we do need to hear from you about what would be most valuable to you. I want to thank grad students who turned down in great numbers for our recent campus survey on childcare needs. We are processing that information and working collaboratively to try to make some advances in terms of that on our campus. I think I'll stop there so that we have time for other discussion, but I want to encourage you all to look at the webpage and look at those resources that are available to you. There are many resources you can apply for, such as emergency financial assistance through the CARES Act. You can access the food pantry and the warrior wardrobe and other types of resources. They are totally available to graduate students. They are not only for undergraduate students. They are for all of you.
Thank you, Sharon. Evan, Leonard, Kelly, are there any things that you would like to add as far as student services are concerned?
Well, I can add that so CAPS is operating virtually, but we're offering all of our services really virtually. We've really expanded services. So we have even virtual workshops. You can go to our website and see if that's something that's of help to you. If you want to like learn right now, I think we're running ones on mindfulness and like self-care and loneliness, how to cope with all of this virtual world and social distancing. We also have, we're doing online groups right now. We have online, we're doing telemental health therapy, and we have couples therapy and individual. And so all you have to do is just call CAPS. You can reach us at 313-577-3398 or from our website. All of our information's on there, and just call to schedule an initial consultation if you're even just thinking about those services. If you want more information, we're here for you. And if we could be of help to speak at any event or to, provide more awareness, we're available for that too.
Thank you, Evan. That sounds great. Leonard, Kelly, did you have anything to add?
Yes, I would like to add for our international students, oftentimes you have a lot of questions or need assistance, but don't know where to start at. At OISS, we encourage you to contact and reach out to us. Even if we don't have the answer, we know where you can get assistance from. So don't let it be that you don't think that you qualify or certain things don't cover you as an international student. Ask, you will be surprised.
Thank you very much. That's a very important message. Leonard?
Yeah, there's a number of cultural and identity-based programming that we're offering virtually. There's a number of organizations and groups that are also hosting cultural and identity-based programming monthly. And so if you're interested, just follow us on, on social media or give us an email and we'll certainly get you connected.
If there is no message that I would like to have besides what you've just heard about services, remember, advocate for yourself. Kelly's message about going and looking for things, come on, you don't know if there's nothing out there for you if you don't look. Look under every rock, go knock on every door. You're here by invitation. You applied and we said, come on in. So when we say come on in, that means that you get to sit down and eat at the table. So let us just make sure that you advocate for yourself and reach out for the things you need. So our next question deals very specifically with medical leaves. How will medical leaves and medical issues due to COVID impact your timeline to graduation? And I'm going to ask Dr. Lean to handle that question.
Thank you. So our master's and PhD time limits allow 6 years to complete the master's and up to 12 years to complete the PhD. And because those time limits are fairly generous, they are designed to allow sufficient time to accommodate any students who may have a need for time off, to say take a semester off from a program. The graduate school doesn't have a formal application that you need to send in to us in order to have a medical leave. What we advise you to do is talk to your graduate program director. Different programs have different needs and different time periods that they find manageable for a student to take a leave. Taking a leave might be a different experience for you if you have a teaching obligation or a lab obligation. So you really do need to talk about those things with your program. That said, we're using as much flexibility as we can during this very difficult time. We are looking at any type of time extension request on a case-by-case basis and trying to find the maximum flexibility that will support your success. So I don't want you to worry about time limits. I want you to get help by starting first with your program to talk to them if you need time off for yourself or for your ability to care for a family member. We will work with you. I also want to let you know that the registrar has a formal procedure for medical withdrawal that has specific requirements. And I encourage you to look into that if you need to withdraw in the middle of a semester from all of your courses for medical reasons, whether those are pandemic related or not. You do need to go through that process with the registrar, and it entails tuition reimbursement and things like that. So that's slightly separate from the process you might undertake with your department if you need to take a semester off, or if you need to take a lighter course load. And I'm here to help if you have specific questions, particularly if you're having trouble getting them addressed within your program. So that's what I have to share about that.
So what the message I wanted you to get there is that we recognize that every student is an individual, and individual situations require individual action. So if you have a situation that comes up and you don't know what to do and your department is having problems guiding you, reach out to us. And if you are also having issues that you can't seem to resolve, that's what we're here for as well. I told you to advocate for yourself. When you step out there, you make one step and we'll make the second one with you. So make sure that you recognize that we're here to advocate with you. The third question is, what is the graduate school doing in conjunction with other departments to ensure we have proper access to the lab and also help our advisors adjust their expectations? That question is one that came from a lot of different sources. So we recognize that access to the resources that you need to complete your work is vital. I have been on email and phone calls and Zoom meetings all day, all this morning, trying to find out those answers to those questions for you. And one of the persons that I spoke to was our Vice President for Research, Stephen Lanier. And we talked about the fact that there is an expectation by many that students would be in their respective laboratories or doing research at the same level that they did before the pandemic. Well, we know that that's not something that can happen. We understand that there are limitations because students cannot be in laboratories at the same level that they were before because it's too small. The spaces are too small. We have to practice social distancing. We have to wear masks. We have to stay 6 feet apart. We can't eat together, all of those kinds of things. And in some very close quarters, it's just not reasonable. So if your research advisor needs help on understanding what that looks like, I strongly suggest that you reach out to the graduate school. We can help, with the help of the Office of Research, make sure that your research advisors understand the expectations that they can have as far as the hours that you will spend in the laboratory particularly, or the different aspects of what it is you need to do. We understand that IRB approvals are an issue that's out there that we're trying to deal with. We can help you actually, with your advisor, determine better ways to actually do the research that you have to do that may involve human subjects, that may require that you go from face-to-face to remote. But that's what we're there for. We're the knowledge carriers when it comes to the completion of graduate degrees. So I'm going to shout out Dr. Tody. I would like to ask him if he would like to comment at all on this particular question.
Thank you, Dean. Yes, these are very difficult times, and the priority for the restart of research at Wayne State obviously has been safety, first and above all. We are still under great restrictions for research at Wayne State. Updates about where we stand and what the next steps are found under the coronavirus menu tab at research.wayne.edu. And just so you all know, once this session is completed, we will post these links on our website as well. So you don't have to write anything down or memorize them right now. But yes, things are difficult. Many students and postdocs have had a difficult difficult time progressing with their research. However, please be assured that steps are being undertaken to expand step by step in a secure and deliberate way all of your access to labs for research at Wayne State. In terms of access to research labs at our partnering institutions, obviously there are other guidelines that those institutions like Henry Ford or the Karmanos Cancer Institute will have to impose as well, besides ours. So things may be a bit more complicated from those directions, but at Wayne State, sooner than later, you'll have more access, but it will be in a slow and careful fashion because, again, safety is number one. In terms of expectations, as the dean said, please do reach out to us. We will also make sure that the conversations remain private and anonymous in the beginning so that we can take the best approach forward to help everybody adjust the expectations in these times that are very, very tough all around. I'll leave it at that because I know we have lots more questions we have to go through.
Thank you very much. Remember, safety is always first. That's an important point. Number 4 is, what type of action can the graduate school take to improve our learning and exam procedures within our programs? Dr. Lean?
Thank you. Well, the graduate school collaborates very closely and keeps in close touch with the Office of Teaching and Learning and also Computer and Information Technology. And so the resource I would recommend to all graduate students from the Office of Teaching and Learning is their Learn Anywhere website. It has some very valuable resources that can help you to adjust to learning in classes that are online, synchronous, hybrid, all of those changes that we are getting used to. There are wonderful resources for learners. The OTL is also working very hard to help faculty adjust to this environment. If you're a graduate teaching assistant, I hope you're taking advantage of their many resources on their Teach Anywhere website. So those are great resources. We had a specific question here about the challenge of using the Respondus software for exams, and the university and the graduate school are very much aware that this can be challenging. It's a challenge related to the type of computer equipment you're using at home. And the Respondus system, which is basically a lockdown browser for taking exams. So CNIT, Computer and Information Technology, on their website has a lot of detail about the issues with Respondus. So tips for installing and using Respondus in a way that will work for you, and resources. If you don't have equipment that can access Respondus, there are resources on campus. There are loaner laptops. There are spaces set aside in the libraries currently that are safe and socially distanced with computer equipment that has been wiped down and can be reserved. So the campus is taking action to support students on that technical question. Departments and programs are aware of these challenges and are encouraging faculty to explore other alternatives to Respondus where possible for the administration of exams and other exercises that contribute to your grade. Again, if you're really struggling, I want to hear from you, and I will try to connect you to the resources you need to make these problems less weighty.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'm going to go to a question here that is interesting to me. I was a person who was in this situation, so I would love for Kelly to actually talk about what type of support does Wayne State have to enable the travel of international students and their spouses over the next year. Kelly, you're muted.
Thank you. I've actually been asked that multiple times. Unfortunately, I'm very limited as what we can do. And this is the reason why, is that we can provide you with a travel signature on your immigration documents that says that, yes, we know you're traveling and we grant you to come back when you're ready to return. But there are so many changes that are constantly happening regarding entry and exit from the U.S. and whether you can go to travel to certain countries, or if you're coming from that country, can you return back to the U.S.? At times, you know, we have students who will leave, let's say if they leave today, and 10 days from now, if they decide that there's so many increased cases in the COVID-19 coming from that country, they can immediately at midnight say that, you know, we're not letting anybody else in. And there's nothing that we can do. We have no power to get you back to the US. So what I'm actually recommending is that as an international student, unless it's essential for you to travel, and I understand being homesick and wanting to go home. I get that, I really do. But unless it's essential, I'm going to really encourage you to really try to defer traveling home as much as possible.
Kelly, I'm thankful that you were so forthright with our students. As a graduate student myself, I was in Europe. My family was here in the United States. I know how that feels. It's very difficult, but you need to try to find a way to build some community here to get through these very difficult times. So I'm going to ask Evan, do you guys have any resources actually for students who are feeling isolated, who need family, who need support, who are just plain old-fashioned homesick?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually run like a coping with loneliness and engaging social support workshop on Mondays. You don't even have to be like, you don't have to be anything affiliated with CAPS to come. All you, you know, need to do is to email me. And it's actually also my email's on our website. It's also on Academica. So, or you can always call our office to get the information and they'll get it to me and I'll reach out to you. Also, our groups are winding down for this semester, but they'll be starting up in January. And so if you're interested in group therapy or, you know, just having a support group, a place to like talk about stuff that's going on, you know, we are offering a lot of groups and, you know, I would encourage you to look into it or even just call us to talk about them. And also we do have a case manager who, I actually didn't mention this before, but if there are resources you can't find or want to, you can even call and meet with her. And she knows of so many amazing things in the community. And also all of our services are free. So as long as you're a student at Wayne State, you have access to all of this stuff. So I encourage you to reach out and maybe come to a workshop. I hope to see you there. But I think it's so important right now to, even if being together isn't the same as it used to look, that we do reach out virtually and engage the support that's here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Leonard, often, of course, homesickness comes from not having the cultural aspects of your home around you. I'm a North Carolina girl. I miss eating chopped barbecue and collard greens from my mama. So are there resources in your office that can help people get connected culturally to the things that are familiar to them?
Yes, absolutely. And if we don't have it, we would love to talk with them about how we could create that space for them. We're here to support them and we're here to create and work with them to help them feel comfortable.
So there is a very specific question here that asks, what is the graduate school doing to help students be more connected to each other, to faculty, and the campus at large? And I would like to request here, I'm old. I got gray hair for a reason. I don't know what it is you guys need really in order to get connected. I know how to connect students to faculty. That's my gig. I know how to do that. But if you guys would just tell us, what is it that you want to do to try to get connected? I know that there are a lot of virtual ways to do it and meetups and hangouts and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know anything about that. The only thing I know is what my 18-year-old tells me. And half of the time I don't get that. So we need to hear from you because we will do everything in our power to make sure that you can connect to each other. I can only imagine what it feels like to be a first-year graduate student walking down this campus and never getting to see the people face-to-face that you're in class with. it must be very difficult. I have not seen most of the people that I work with face to face, so I know how you feel. So just reach out to us and let us know ways that we can do this. We're constantly trying to make sure that your faculty are connecting with you. We have lots of conversations with them about not going radio silent, about trying to make sure that their face is out there for you. We understand that. And the campus at large, hey, we're going to do our best. Just let us know. We're going to do everything that we can to bring you guys together. Let me see. So here's a question that I know is on some minds, so I want to address it directly. I heard Wayne State is reducing support for PhD students in favor of more support for master's students. Is that true? And if so, then when will it be implemented? It's news to me. I didn't know that we were going to reduce support to doctoral students in favor of master's students. So I am not at all supporting that right now. I don't have any reason to. So doctoral education at Wayne State University is one of the main reasons, of course, that we're a Research One institution. And research is the strength, the backbone of the institution. It's what brings and keeps incredibly great faculty here to teach at the graduate level, at the undergraduate level. It's important for our clinical areas. Research is important. Doctoral students do a huge amount of research. And so we will continue to fund doctoral students at the same level that we have in the past. There is no plan to reduce that. Now, having said that, we do want to see if we can find creative ways to support master's students. We want master's students to recognize that they are as important to the institution as doctoral students are, but that their actual involvement in academia is different. We understand that. And as a graduate school, it is our responsibility to educate the rest of the campus on what that truly looks like. So when it comes to admissions, for instance, Ms. Quinn is there. She's looking at admissions from the master side. She's looking at admissions from the doctoral side. We recruit, we have students applying from all over the world. We want the best students who want to come to this institution, and we're not trying to favor one group over another. That wouldn't actually be justice with it. So that's not what we want to do. So rest assured that that is not a plan that is going to be implemented anytime soon. And if that does change for any reason, you know, we're going through financial issues here at the institution. We know that. If anything happens in that way, then we will very clearly communicate that to our graduate students and our graduate community. Let's see, what other kinds of questions do we have? How does Wayne State prepare to support first-generation college students in their master's programs? What funding sources are available to these first-generation college students? I am going to ask Dr. Lean to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have, like our A-grade surge and those kinds of things.
So we have a number of programs that I think can help support first-generation college students who are thinking about a master's degree or even a PhD. And the dean has already mentioned a few. SURGE is a program that's new and is seeking to identify students in their undergraduate years who are interested in learning more and making that transition into graduate programs. We have a number of master's scholarships that are open to all of our students, including A-grade scholarships, which are scholarships for students who are admitted to our accelerated graduate enrollment program as undergrads, take some graduate courses while they are still undergrads that will count both for their undergraduate and graduate degree. And we also have Dean's Diversity Master's Scholarships, master's scholarships for recruitment of new master's students. But for first generation students, I would strongly encourage you, in addition to looking for this funding, which you deserve and which you should go after, in addition to that, I would encourage you to connect with the graduate school on social media so that you can get connected to our graduate ambassadors. These are graduate students from programs across campus, both master's and PhD. They organize meetups and events, and they are there for you to answer your questions from a student perspective. So I would encourage you to connect with the grad ambassadors, and I would also strongly encourage you and all graduate students to try to attend some of the events in the professional development series that we sponsor. These are Zoom calls, and people do interact. You will meet students from programs other than your own, as well as faculty and administrators from across campus. It'll give you both, hopefully, professional development skills, but also the chance to really feel more connected to the campus and to get advice from maybe a faculty member outside your department. Someone who can be a mentor to you in a different way than the folks you're working with on a day-to-day basis. So those are my suggestions for you, and those are some of the things that we offer to help first-gen college students get connected in LinkedIn and get the support they need.
Excellent, Sharon. Thank you. I think that one of the most important things that we have to do, especially in this day and age and all the time, find mentors. A lot of the things that you are really trying to battle your way through, if you just had a voice out there of someone who's been through it or someone who shares your experience, that can be so incredibly helpful. I've had mentors throughout my academic preparation and even through my career, and without them, I would have never known to make some of the steps that I've made. So I strongly encourage you to go out on LinkedIn, look around and see who's in the Detroit area. Find someone who shares some of your experience and get a mentor. It's an important piece. Dr. Toda, would you like to talk a little bit about professional development? What kinds of professional development and where to look for it?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that opportunity. So at the graduate school, we are very committed to helping you not just with hitting milestones, but also with being prepared for the next step of your life once you leave our nest. Although we're very sad to see you go, obviously, and we hope you'll always be in touch with us. We have relaunched our professional development series this year, and you can find this information at the graduate school website, which again, we will post all these links soon after this session is conducted. We have partnered up with a lot of schools and colleges and institutes at Wayne State to provide a smorgasbord in a way of opportunities for you to develop beyond just the academic work and the work at the bench or your research activities. So we have included non-academic and academic events such as learning more about statistics, microaggressions, identifying and dealing with them, conflict management, how to find research opportunities for funding for research opportunities at Wayne State and elsewhere. And right now we're working with even more of our collaborators and units to come up with events that can help you in terms of understanding what sorts of positions are available for you once you are done. Industry, academia, government, things of that nature. So please stay tuned and check the website for the professional development events as often as you can, because we do always post more interesting and exciting opportunities that way. Now, I also want to remind all of you, as students, you have free access to the Career Services Center at Wayne State. This is not just for undergrads, it's also for graduate students and even for postdocs. You all have access to it. And these services include things like writing the CV, preparing a compelling resume, and even interviews, mock interviews, and job seeking. So you can be as prepared as possible for the next stage of your life. We are here for you, obviously. So if there are things that you want to have access to in terms of your development and you can't find it, shoot us an email. We'll make sure that we have it for you as soon as possible. We are working quite quickly to get all of your needs as fulfilled as we can.
Thank you so much. That's great. That's great. Professional development is part of our game, and we don't feel that our commitment to you as a graduate student is complete until we have successfully helped you be placed into the professional path that you want to be in. So just remember that that is the part of the commitment. Like I said, we invited you in, you're going to eat from the table. And part of that is the box, the takeout box that you get to pack up and take with you, because we want to make sure that you have everything that you need so that you can be successful. So a few questions are coming in right now, and I want to address a few of those. One of them is a question, Kelly, that has to do an international student on a graduate assistantship with COVID-19 cases increasing. Am I still required to do work in the United States, or can I work in my home country of Canada?
Unfortunately, you have to work in the US. While we understand that COVID-19 is a major issue around the world, the US federal regulations haven't changed in regards to employment in the US. Remember that your visa that you're here in the US studying on regulates your activities in the US. When you depart the US, you are no longer covered under that. So that's one of the reasons why you can't work when you depart the US. The second reason is a little larger reason than that is that Wayne State as an organization has no authority to run a business and pay employees who are working in foreign countries, whether it is Canada, China, India. Most countries have a long list of regulations and policies as to who can run a business, whether you have to have a physical presence, whether you have to pay certain taxes to those countries. So we don't get into the middle of any of that, for any in any country. And so one, as a F1 student or someone on a TN or H-1B, that's regulating you here in the US. The second thing was, well, why don't we just pay us outside of that system? Well, then you have the other reason that I mentioned about us not having authority to run a business in those countries.
Right.
And that's why we can't pay you when you're not working in the US. Now, whether or not you actually physically come onto campus to work, as long as you're in the US, you can sit under a tree. But you have to be physically in the US.
I love that, sit under a tree. We don't want y'all sitting under the tree, but
okay, Starbucks maybe.
Okay, Starbucks. Yeah, but I understand exactly what you're saying. And it's important. We have to follow rules and regulations. If we do not follow rules and regulations around these things, we will lose our ability to train students. And that is definitely not where we want to be. Thank you so much, Kelly. The next question is, what resources are available in terms of scholarships and assistantships for PhD students if their funding is ended in April of next year and they need to fund their final year of dissertation studies? Sharon?
Yes, so we are working closely with departments to encourage departments to take into consideration the funding needs of students who may be at the limit of their initially offered funding package from the program. We do have some emergency bridge funds that are designed to be used to help students complete, and we're dedicating those principally at this time to students whose research was disrupted by the pandemic. The way to access those funds is through your department. So your program, your graduate program director would request funding on your behalf in that way. So, that's in a nutshell what we have available, but there are also opportunities for programs to redirect funding and make adjustments to the way they are allocating funding in order to help students who are already in the pipeline to complete their degree. And this may mean smaller numbers of students admitted in order to spread the funding in a way that's logical, but that's going to vary quite a bit by program, by the needs of programs and labs and things on campus. So I encourage you to make sure that your needs are known by your graduate program director so that they can be looking out for you. I also want to let you know that in the professional development series that Sokol mentioned, there are a number of sessions either recorded or coming up soon on how to seek external funding, how to look for funding that is broadly available through the university, so it might not be specific to your program. I want to encourage every graduate student and every doctoral student to consider putting in an application for external funding. It's fantastic experience. It's and students are more successful, I think, than they estimate they might be when they start out on that. So it's important to explore all of your options, and we have many resources to help you explore options outside the university, as well as those bridge funds that we're making available within the institution.
Thank you. So as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all of the different things that you guys must all be going through, I'm thinking about those of you who are completing degrees, not really sure about the job market, not really knowing whether or not you're going to be going somewhere else or doing something else. And I just want to ask Ms. Quinn to actually talk a little bit about what if you're really thinking, I don't want to leave the academy right now. I want to stay here. I want to get another degree. I want to expand my credentials. I want to be ready when this pandemic is over. And I just want to then just have her talk to you a little bit about what it looks like to be a current graduate student and actually add on a different program. You're muted, Sharon.
Sure. So if you are interested in continuing your education at Wayne State, please feel free to reach out to the Office of Graduate Admissions. We are here to support you in that process. As a current student at Wayne State, that process usually requires it usually moves along a lot quicker because we already have some of the information and documentation that is required in the graduate admissions process. You can visit gradadmissions.wayne.edu to review the application requirements for the specific program that you're interested in. Again, the process is going to be the same as previous, where we work with the academic units in order to review and ensure that a decision is made holistically on your application. Again, we are here to serve you with any questions that you may have, and we do work in collaboration with academic units in the admission and decision process.
Thank you very much. Very good. So if you're really thinking, I just don't know what to do, there are people in the graduate school can help you with that question. And it's a very difficult time to think about actually going somewhere else. So think about staying with us. One more question that came up here, which is an important one for us to address, is will the grad school implement the grade no pass policy for fall 2020? It is our intention to implement a grade no pass policy for fall 2020. I am currently reviewing the policy that was in place during the last term, so I will be looking at that one to make sure that it's actually still actual and will fulfill the needs of the students. So we hope to be able to announce that policy by end of day tomorrow, because we know that we have some very specific deadlines that you may be looking at, and we want to make sure you have the information that you need. Oh, okay. Are there any other points that any of my panelists here would like to actually mention before I start to go into my closing remarks?
Dean, perhaps a brief comment about commencement and graduation plans.
Thank you. Yes.
I'll just be very brief. So many of you may already know, for December, a virtual commencement celebration and ceremony is planned, and I encourage all of you to tune in on Tuesday, December 15th at 9. The pandemic has caused us to move from an in-person event to a virtual celebration. For May 2021, that decision has not been made, but you can follow developments on the commencement website. This is going to be a decision made for the whole university and not just for graduate programs. But of course, right now, we don't know what conditions will permit. We are really eager to get back to the day when we can be on stage and watch you watch across the stage with your advisors and get that doctoral hood and get that master's degree. We are all looking forward to that day. But for right now, the plans for December are virtual, and the plans for May are as yet not decided.
Thank you so much. I will tell you that Graduation for me is my favorite part of the year. And I love to hood students. I love to see that smile on faces. I love to hear folks in the crowds yelling. I just think it's so important because getting a degree is not a small piece of cake. And when you decide to get a doctoral degree or a master's degree, you're really taking on something huge. And we want to be there to celebrate. So we're going to make sure that we're going to claim that this pandemic is going to go away so that Dr. Amanda can have her commencement show, because that's one of my favorite things to do. So just in closing here, I just wanted to make sure if you have any questions that were not answered here today, please email Mary Wood, who is a member of the graduate school staff. Her email address is shown here, mewood@wayne.edu, and she will make sure that your questions get to me. And I'm not to my staff, but to me, because I need to know what it is that's bothering you, what's hindering you, what's helping you, what's making you feel good, what's making you feel bad. I just need to know, because I don't get to walk across campus and see you. So I need to know how you're doing. So please feel free to send her those questions and she will send them to me. And we'll make sure that if you need assistance, you will get that assistance from whomever it is that we can send you to. Or if you just need to say hello and make somebody know that you're out there, then please feel free to submit that. You know, I feel incredibly honored to be called the Dean of the Graduate School at Wayne State. I feel overjoyed that you guys are actually there getting degrees, and I will watch over you just like the mother hen that I am. Anything that should come in your way, you let me know, because I want to make sure that you're successful, because your success is my success. Someone asked me yesterday, what was the biggest success of my career? And spontaneously, it just came to me that my biggest success was the day that one of my former undergraduate researchers became a tenure-track professor at Vanderbilt University in chemistry. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. So make sure that you let us know if you need anything, if there's anything that we can help you do. Look at these great people who are on the screen. They're there for you. They don't bite. None of them look like they bite for me, even though I have not met any of them face to face, but I don't think they bite. So make sure that you let us know if there's anything we can do. And with that, I wish you the absolute best for the rest of the semester. Have a safe but joyful Thanksgiving and remain warrior strong. Thank you. Bye-bye.